Connection.
Are we live? Is this us? Wow! Hi everyone. This is the ROM. My name's Kieran. I run the camps here at the ROM. Obviously, we're in my living room right now, in a time when we're trying out some new things. We've never done this before. Okay, so bear with me. What we're going to try and do is sort of bring the camp that we run at the ROM. We've been running camp at the museum for something like 80 years, and we're going to try and bring that sort of experience to you in the best way that we can. Try refreshing it, yeah. We're going to do some art. Okay, we're going to talk about Parasaurolophus, one of my favorite dinosaurs in the entire world. We're going to do a little bit of art as well. And just tell some stories about the dinosaurs at the museum and all the cool things that we do at the museum, okay? This is, again, the first time we've ever done this. Please, you can give us your questions if you want to talk about dinosaurs as well. I've been at the ROM for 18 years, and I'm really excited to talk to you about the ROM from a place that isn't the ROM, which is my home. So, today, maybe I should say this is the ROMKids show. That's a good thing to say aloud to everyone. Welcome everyone to the ROMKids show from our place here in Toronto as we all practice some physical distancing, but certainly not social distancing. Let's still talk to each other and have a lot of fun, okay? Today, we're gonna talk about this guy right here, okay? I'll bring him a little bit closer to the camera in a bit, but this is Parasaurolophus, the ROM's pride and joy dinosaur, okay? And we're gonna make this. This is Parasaurolophus headdress. I'm very excited about it. I've been working on it a lot over the last couple days. This is an activity that we did at the museum back when we had ultimate dinosaurs in the early 2010s. And we're going to try and bring it to you now, okay? But first I want to tell you about my own journey with dinosaurs, because when I was little, like maybe some people in our audience here, I absolutely wanted to be a paleontologist. Nothing more in the world that I want to become than a paleontologist. To dig up dinosaurs every day, to hang out in museums, to do all of that. And so my mom was really good because she would bring me to the ROM every Saturday as a kid. And that was like a really special experience for me to be able to grow up at the ROM. And when I was young, we went on a trip to Alberta, to Dinosaur Provincial Park. I met Phil Curry, one of the world's famous paleontologists. And I actually got to be where the dinosaurs are found, and it was a really special experience. After that, my mom sent me to camp at the ROM. I did summer club for a couple of years. And I started to realize at that time that I still wanted to do stuff with dinosaurs, but maybe not dig them up anymore, but teach them. And what better place to do that than at the ROM? So when I was 14, 15, I started volunteering here, and now I get to run the kids' camps, which is just like such a tremendous thing. We have camps here on Saturdays, in the mornings, on Saturdays during summer club, most March breaks. We also do toddler programs too. We're going to try and on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock for the next little bit, share some of the activities we do at ROM Camp and tell some of the stories about the ROM's research and collections. And so the first one that we're going to do is on Parasaurolophus. And I'm going to take a quick note first. Oh, right. I'm wearing dinosaur socks. This is really important that I tell you all this. I'm wearing my dinosaur socks. Will this be recorded? We're going to try our best. This is our first time doing it. I have clear instructions on how to save this video, and I'm just hoping that I do it right. I'm also screen recording it on my phone too. Hopefully we get this done. Hopefully this all works out. And then if you're not watching it live right now, no worries. You can watch it live somewhere else too, okay? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna introduce our art project, then make sure that we're all on the same page. This is gonna be like a cooking show style. I've already sort of preheated, pre-made some of the steps in this so that you can do this on your own pace. And I've already sort of fast forwarded a bit for some of it, okay? But right now, what we're going to do is I'm going to go to my art chair, and we're going to do our second segment and introduce our art project. Whoa! Here we go. That was nifty how we just sort of moved right down here to do some art. So first let's go over all the things that we need, okay? These should all be things that many families would have in their households, and if you don't have these specific things, that's okay. Maybe see what other stuff that you have so you can scale it a little bit differently, okay? Again, we're gonna try and make a Parasaurolophus headdress, okay? Should be cool. So what are the things that I have right now? I have crayons, okay? That's a really good tool. We got pencil crayons, an underrated coloring utensil, as well as a set of markers. You might have pastels at home. You might have smelly markers, which are always like fun to smell because they smell cool, like kiwi and strawberry. All of these things you might have at home, and just see how it goes, okay? What else do I have? I have a Sharpie, I have a pen, I don't have a pineapple, but I do have a pencil. I also have a stapler, and I have, what is this, a sharpener? Sharpener as well, okay? And then the next thing I have is Bristol board, okay? And this is what we're gonna make our Parasaurolophus headdress out of, okay? So, if you don't have Bristol board, you can use cardboard if you really wanted to. You can also save this for another day, maybe when you actually have these supplies too. So you can do this along with me, or you can do this another time, no problem. We're gonna get to the stories in a bit. So as you can see, there are three main pieces to our Parasaurolophus headdress. So first is you have the actual headband, okay? So that's just gonna be the bottom of your Bristol board. You can use any color Bristol board. The color that I will be using after this is yellow, okay? So then I have the headband right here at the bottom, and then we have two faces, okay, for one side and the second side. And I'm just gonna gesture back to this. You can see on our completed piece, we have face one, face two, and then somewhere in there, a headband, so we should be good. This is what we're gonna try and do. Okay, so the way that I did this is it's best to use templates, okay? And I know that because we're doing this on the internet, I can't give you a template that easily. So I'm gonna sort of describe to you how I made mine, okay? So first what I did is I started at the very edge of the Bristol board, and I went all the way up on sort of like a straight line that starts to curve around to make the tube of the Parasaurolophus. Then I brought it back up, and then I brought it down midway, okay? So that's like shape one. That's like the cucumber shape of this. Then the second shape that's involved is sort of the triangle. So then we go straight down, and then right across to meet the first line that we started with, okay? And so try that, and you can do any dinosaur you want. We're doing a Parasaurolophus today because I absolutely love Parasaurolophus. It has a huge ROM connection, has lots and lots of history, and is quite frankly the best dinosaur specimen we have at the ROM, and one of the best in the entire world, okay? You can modify this any way you want. You can scale it up, you can scale it down. I think when I was planning this, I sort of saw this being a really good activity for the 8-9 age bracket, but you can totally do this with a 5, you can totally do this with a 10, and I know there's some adult friends of mine that are doing this at home today too, so you can do it if you're 32 as well. Just make sure that you get the help that you need when you do your cutting, okay? So there you go. After you make your first face and you feel good with it, then I Sharpied over top of it to make sure I had like a strong line to cut with, and then I cut it out. Then what I did is I took that first face and I put it down here and I copied it out to get my second face. We want both faces to be the same, right? We want them to be the same so that it has symmetry and it works well, okay? Once you've cut all three of your pieces out, then you're gonna put everything away, okay? Again, this is what we're working with here, okay? There are 3 pieces to our Parasaurolophus headdress. Then you're gonna put everything to the side. And then, through the magic of the internet, whoa! Now we have 3 pieces, okay? So number 1, we have our headband, which later on we'll staple at the back to make sure that it fits our head. I have like a giant head, so I have to staple it like really at the edge. But maybe some of our younger viewers, you'll have to make the headband a little bit smaller, okay? But there you go, piece one, headband. Next, we have our two irons, face one and face two. What I'm gonna do now to make this look a little bit more like a Parasaurolophus is I'm gonna take both pieces and put them together to line them up. For me, this Parasaurolophus head is a little too pointy to be what I want it to be. We can look at our Parasaurolophus toy from earlier, okay? This is actually an ornament on our tree, and before that spent many years on my desk at the ROM. It was given to me by one of our campers, young Theo. So thanks, young Theo, Ann and Matt, because now it's helping me do this art project at home. So we can look at our Parasaurolophus, and we can look at our piece that we're making, okay? A Parasaurolophus sort of has like a beak, like a duck. That's why they're from the hadrosaur family, the duck-billed dinosaurs. And this is too pointy for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to put them together. So both of them are back to back so that they fit each other's silhouette. And then we're going to take our scissors. I don't know if I mentioned that I had scissors earlier, but these are the cute scissors that we're working with today. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off the end of it, okay? I'm just going to cut off the end of it. Spatially, I'm struggling a bit right now, but I'm going to be able to pull it together. Okay, I took off the edge. It feels a little bit closer for me for the beak of the Parasaurolophus. I feel more comfortable with this. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm also going to cut off the edge back here, the point back here, make it a little bit more rounded. So I'm just going to cut that off too, and now I feel better about my Parasaurolophus head. What you can do is you can shape it in any way you want. I encourage you to take this art in any place that you want to take it. It doesn't have to be a Parasaurolophus. I just think they're funny and cute. So now, once you have all your pieces together, whether it's RN right now or some other point in the future, you can start to do your art, okay? So now you get to color it in and draw everything to it. So like on the one that I made earlier, I like to put my eye in. I made a big nose. Because what's really crazy about the Parasaurolophus, and hopefully you can see this right here, is the Parasaurolophus nose, which starts down here, is connected to the big tube, okay? Connected to the big tube on the top of its head. It's all connected, and that's one of the things that helps us wonder if they would use their big crest to make like vocalization, to make other cool different sounds, okay? But we'll get into that in a moment. So I'm going to start doing some art, and I'm going to start telling some stories now too, okay? We're just going to see how this goes. You know, it's our first time doing this. It's a new world. Let's just try out. Let's relax. Let's have some fun. So right before this, I was on a call with David Evans, who's the senior vertebrate paleontologist here at the Royal Ontario Museum. Super cool dude. He's been here a really long time. And we were talking about really our mutual favorite dinosaur, Parasaurolophus. And many years ago, I'm starting with a pencil, by the way, to do my art. And then after I start with my pencil, then I'll go in with like my fine liner and my Sharpie, just to like really make all my points really defined. David Evans was talking to me about the pride and joy of the ROM's paleo collection, which is our Parasaurolophus. And you can see it again here. This is the one we have on display, okay? It looks super cool, and it's really, really unique. There haven't been too many Parasaurolophus found in the world. It's again part of the hadrosaur family and the duckbills, but this one's really, really rare. And David was telling me that our Parasaurolophus at the ROM that's on display is one of the most unique and important finds on display in any museum in the world. In fact, our Parasaurolophus right here, oh, great book, Piranhas Don't Eat Bananas. That's a fun book. Parasaurolophus right here is a unique find, and so many other museums around the world have a copy of ours, okay? Like ours is so special that all the other big dinosaur museums in the world want a copy of ours, okay? Parasaurolophus, really important. More on that in a moment as I pull myself together. This is really unique. This is my first time doing this. Okay, so yeah, Parasaurolophus at the ROM, David Evans, pride and joy of our collections. This was a really cool thing that I learned today. It was in 1920, 100 years ago, that our Parasaurolophus was dug out of the ground. So our Parasaurolophus now is 100 years old. Happy birthday. And that's another reason why we're doing this today. So first I'm going to do some work on my eye. I realize I've been neglecting doing my actual work. And they have fun eyes. They're kind of cool. So what's the deal with that tube, right? So Parasaurolophus, it's a herbivore. It eats plants. It lived in the Cretaceous period, so right at the very end of our dinosaurs of the Mesozoic. And it's really fun because it's so unique with its tube. A lot of hadrosaurs are pretty, they have like crests that go up like this, but the Maiasaur, which is an incredible dinosaur, is a lot more straightforward. It doesn't have a lot of other really like wacky things going on, which I think makes the Parasaurolophus so iconic. So again, yeah, we're trying to do my art at the same time. I find it hard to do two things at once sometimes. David was telling me this morning that one of the cool things, and I think I was saying this before, is that the Parasaurolophus crest goes all the way down into its nose to eucalls. Other things that we think the crest might do too is to signal to other Parasaurolophus or other hadrosaurs or other dinosaurs, this is me, this is who I am, I'm someone seeking someone to have a good time, I'm out here to make new friends. Or stay away, it's really colorful right now, I'm making a lot of noise, don't come near me, we're practicing physical distancing. So those are all things that we think the Parasaurolophus might have used its tube with. So in 1920 it was found by William Parks, which was the ROM's, one of the ROM's first paleontologists. At the beginning, the ROM was sort of a collection of several different museums. And if you go to, come back to the ROM once we can all go back outside, and you can see that the heritage part of the building has different wings. And those all belong to the different museums, because back then we were more closely associated with U of T. So there's the paleontology wing, there's the geology wing, and William Parks really took care of a lot of the geology and paleontology at the ROM. He found a number of dinosaurs, one of which was, he described a number of dinosaurs, one of which was the Parasaurolophus. Now, our Parasaurolophus' full name is Parasaurolophus walkeri, and that's because it's named after Sir Edmund Walker. Sir Edmund Walker is one of the founders of the ROM with Corelli. So Corelli was our first director, and he really believed that in order for us to have a world-class city, we needed to have a world-class museum. And so he, with his friends, decided let's make the ROM. And so he's teamed up with Sir Edmund Walker to make the ROM. Okay, a lot of other people took part in this, but Sir Edmund Walker's main thing was getting the money. Corelli's main thing was like getting the stuff, and so he needed money to get the stuff, and so that was Sir Edmund Walker's deal. And he worked for a big bank at the time, and he was also a really big proponent of paleontology and of geology. He loved that stuff. It was really cool. It was really fascinating to him, as it should be for all of us. Rocks and dinosaurs and fossils are fascinating things. And so he, through his connection with the department, was so popular that the dinosaur was named after him by William Parks, because they were so thankful for all the work that he had done in pushing paleontology at the ROM. So here's a fun thing about dinosaur names, okay? You can name a dinosaur after anything you want. Okay, so if you find a dinosaur, or you're one of the people who's working on the paper and you're naming the dinosaur, it's like brand new, you can name a dinosaur after anything you want except for yourself. Okay, you can't ever name a dinosaur after yourself. That would be super weird. We don't support that. We're not into it. An important thing when you're making your dinosaur headdress, going back to our art project real quick, is you don't want to do the same side twice, okay? Because then, if I also put an eye on this side and we staple it together, it won't work. The dinosaurs are on the same face. So you have to flip it around. So if I drew my dinosaur face on this side, next time I'm going to do it. I did it on this side, so this side. It'll make sense once I'm done, okay? There are a lot of other people that were really important, and just decorate one and start coloring. Oh wow, I really should motor along. I'm just gonna decorate the one, and then we're gonna staple this all together, okay? Wow, okay, I'm breezing through these notes. I wanna tell you a quick story about the last time. This is not a quick story. I'm gonna tell you a story about the last time that the ROM was closed for a few days. And some of you might remember this from 2003 when we had the big blackout. So that was my first summer working at the ROM at camp. And it was a Thursday, and it was at 4:08. I'm gonna use some pink on mine. I think it's a really cool color. You can use your details in any which way you want. I really like pink. It's fun. And then for the top, I'm going to use, hopefully I have purple. Oh, what is this one? Using a red. So it was 2003, we had this big blackout, and it was like 4:08 when the power went out at the ROM. And I was, I guess, 14 at the time. It was my first summer at the museum. And I'm walking up the heritage staircase to go clean up the classrooms after a day at camp, and the power goes out. And so all the kids that were waiting for their parents to pick them up, they all screamed downstairs. Then the power kicked back on, and the kids rejoiced, and it was a lot of fun. And then the power went out again, and it didn't come back. And we had no idea. This was like a time before Twitter. This was a time before Instagram. This was a time before TikTok. So, we weren't getting these updates super quick. And we had no idea what was going on. Was the power out just at the ROM? No. Was it just on our street? Was it just in our neighborhood? No. Was it just in our city? No. Was it just in our province? No. In fact, the power had gone out on the northeastern seaboard of North America. So it was giant. And so as the kids are starting to get picked up, we decide that it's also important to send all the staff home because there's no TTC. So we had to plan our route home, and there was a lot of really cool people that were directing traffic with cardboard, because there weren't the street signs weren't working, right? And so we were walking home, and I'll tell you what we did. We planned this very particularly. We found out early on that all the ice cream shops were giving away their ice cream for free. So we designed a route home that hit up multiple ice cream shops. We finally get all to our own homes. Remember, there's no TV or anything, but there's also no lights in the city. So we all went out at night, onto our balconies and into our backyards, and you could see all the stars. It was beautiful. The power didn't come back on the next day, so on the Friday, the whole city was shut down again, and no one went to work, and we didn't go back to the museum. Over the weekend, we start to find out that we're going to have some parts of the city are going to have power, and we finally find out that by Monday, we'll have TTC to get around, but not everything will be open. And so the ROM, the museum, was in this really unique situation where we were closed because we were a government building, but we were open because we had childcare, because we had camp. So we all came to work. And so not all of us were able to make it in, and not all of our campers came in either to camp. So what we did, as opposed to switching all our groups into like dino hunters and mummy in the morning like we do, we condensed all of the groups, the kids camps, into a 5-year-old group, a 6 to 7-year-old group, an 8 to 9, and so forth. And I got to be with the 5s, which was my specialty group at the time. And so we had a handful of kids. We had about 10 kids, and it was my job to set up our classroom. And back then, this was before the crystal. And so we had our old dinosaur gallery. And the old dinosaur gallery at the very back had a classroom hidden in the wall. So you had to walk through the entire gallery, get to the very, very back, into the hadrosaur room, which had our Parasaurolophus in it. And you'd go to the back, and you'd find this like little hidden door, and if you didn't know it was there, you wouldn't know. And then you'd put your key in, and you'd open it up to this well-lit room full of these windows, and all of these like jars full of specimens. And that was one of the classrooms where we did art projects with our groups. And the reason why we had to do it in there is because it had a light. Now, I'm bringing the cart up through the dinosaur gallery, and I realized very quickly, oh my goodness, it's really, really dark in here, because not all the parts of the museum were fully lit. And this was always like a really special thing for me because I loved walking through the dinosaur gallery. But it was pitch black. And I was reminded of being a kid at the ROM. Oh, I'm gonna make my headband now, okay? Again, a giant head. So I'm just gonna staple it right at the very back. And very quickly, a pro tip for those at home. With your stapler, you staple so the staple goes outwards, okay? So that you staple so the staple goes outwards, right? You don't want the pointy part to be on the inside, you want the pointy part to be on the outside, right? So I'm just gonna staple like so, and I'm gonna do another one at the top too because security. As a kid so then the next thing that I'm gonna do is I take my 2 pieces. Again, I've been talking a lot. What you do with your 2 pieces is you're gonna staple the front together, okay? Staple the front together, and then I'll finish my story. And then you can do this at home. Nose, stapled together. The next thing you do is you need to staple it to your headdress, okay? So what I'm gonna do for that, again, I'm gonna take my staple, I'm gonna staple so the pointy part goes outwards. Okay, just like that. And then I'm gonna staple one more. Going outwards as well. Sweet. And then at the final part of our project, is you just staple the back of the headdress. And then, look at me, I'm a Parasaurolophus. I think we can all see it now, okay? Again, you can scale it in all different sorts of ways. It's a lot of fun. You can do this with any sort of dinosaur that you want to. Okay, finishing my story about the last time that the ROM was closed for a long time. So, the old dinosaur gallery, right before the hadrosaur room, was this underwater room. Okay, it had a mosasaur in it, a plesiosaur in it. It was really, really cool, but also really scary. We had done it all up so that there were green and blue lights. It was really dark, so it kind of felt like you were underwater. And then there was like water sounds in there too, and like whale noises. And so when you were like really little and you were in that room, you would get really scared. And some of the security guards back then would talk about calling that part of the dinosaur gallery the pee gallery, because sometimes it was so scary that all the toddlers, they would pee their pants. It was that scary. So back in 2003, I'm walking through the gallery and it's all dark. I need to get to our classroom to set up for the day. And as I'm walking past the saber-toothed tiger and the mammoth, I feel okay even though it's dark. But then I see down the hall some blue and green lights. And I start to get a little scared. And then I keep going with my cart. And then I start to hear these little sounds, and it's the sounds of water and like of a whale sound. And as I walk further, deeper into the room, I finally get to the mosasaur gallery. And for the briefest of moments, I see above me this mosasaur with its big giant jaws open as if it's going to eat me. I feel this for a moment like a 5-year-old, and I'm going to pee my pants. It was very, very scary for me. And then I came to my senses and I realized this is just a museum. It's all okay, and I moved on. But it was a lot of fun, and that was the last time that the ROM was closed for a little bit of time, but we still got to run camp. And so what we're going to try and do with these, as opposed to still going to the ROM, we're going to try and bring the ROM to you, okay? We're going to, next week on Tuesday, we're going to make an amphora, and we're going to use crayons, and we're going to use our pencil crayons too, and we're going to do some scratch art, okay? Which is a really fun activity. It's a lot easier to make than this, and hopefully I'll be able to do a better job of doing it along with you, okay? But that'll be next Tuesday at 2. Feedback, let us know. This is the first time we've done this. Let us know things that you want to learn about, things that you want to see, things that you want to make. Galleries and spaces and concepts and topics. We're going to try and do this distance learning thing as best as we can. We're going to try and bring the camp and the museum to you at home, so you can do it live with us on Tuesdays at 2, or you can do it some other time as well. Remember, this is the ROMKids show. This was made by young ROMKids fan Rhea at home. And please send us your fan art as well, and your questions, and whatever it is you want to do. We're going to try and have as much fun with this as we can, and really bring the museum home to you, okay? And so with that, I want to say thank you so much. See you next week at 2. I'm Kieran. Send us the pics that you made of your Parasaurolophus. Let us know your questions. Hit us up in the comments. I'm Kieran. See you later. Thank you so much. Have a lot of fun.